So we're getting narrowed down to where our thoughts are coming from and how we can possibly produce these thoughts ourselves. Because even in your explanation, there's a part of us that produces a thought as well. Because she said that I'm a part of that conglomerate that I'm attached to. So if I need to send out a thought to somebody to say, tell MBZ, call me, then I can send out that thought into that great conglomerate and he can pick it up on his end. So if we are understanding that this is what we do we really understand that this is what we do?
Yes.
All of us. And that we're doing it constantly and consistently. And that works constantly and consistently for us. Because we're looking to strive to be our best that we are at whatever it is that we say that we're going to do. So we have to kind of hone down and say, this is the thing, this is what works, this is how it works. So this is our collective understanding of where the thoughts come from.
What do you do with all that information that's just running through your head on a daily basis?
Well, that was going to be my next question, because if you're understanding the thought, okay, in the way that the sister put it out there to us, then we can stop those if we don't want it. Just like she was saying that sometimes she could hone into where that thought was coming from and who was actually pushing it to her. So she has the ability to stop it and say, this is not going to happen. So we all should have that same ability to stop it, even though we may not actually employ the ability to stop it.
We can actually stop our thoughts.
Yes.
I feel I can, because I feel I'm going 24/7. You know, I bet there's always something, like she said, going through my head. I think, the type of priority that you give determine on the thoughts that you receive, or whatever you're close to at that time on the path that you're on, controls the type of thoughts that you have.
The path controls it?
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this then. Do you want those thoughts coming through your head 24/7?
Okay, I say as soon as you wake up in the morning, automatically.
No. I want you to hear my question. The question was, do you want those thoughts coming through your head 24/7?
I don't see I have too much choice.
But
Do you want that?
I don't mind. I mean, something I live with.
Well, yes, he wanted.
He wants it.
He wants it.
He wants it.
Yeah,
And then, okay, then
That's cool.
yeah, okay, but that's cool. If you want that, then
That's right.
it's fine. So you can't. She's talking about not
Okay,
having.
when you stop your thoughts, what you have empty space? I mean, you just stop. There's a void. Is there a void here?
No.
What's there?
you see what's actually there
Huh?
when you hear the thought.
Say that again?
You see what's actually there.
You
Not
see
in
what's
the
actually.
beginning, you don't.
No.
You will run into that void that he's talking about. When you stop your thinking,
And that's when you start choosing.
there's going to be a void, because there's who you think you are is looking for something that it recognizes, and there's nothing there. That's a void. So you can't get around that. You got to go through there.
You gotta go through it.
That's part of what she's talking about. To get to what we really want to call thinking, you have to be disciplined. Like if you can lift 5 pounds, can you lift 100? Maybe not at this time, so you got to do some exercise. You got to get disciplined to lifting that weight. Same thing with exercising your thinking. Most people, when they come to that void, they say,
Yes,
you know what?
Oh.
Let me get back to where I know. Wherever that is, it doesn't matter. It's a good place, but it's something they're familiar with, which is pretty close to feelings, which is why I dropped it in, even though we're not thinking about that. You're comfortable in your feelings, you can't get to your thinking. Not to your clear thinking, because feelings aren't clear. They feel good, but they're not clear. And if you want to get clear, you got to go across that void. And when you first went into that, myself and all the people I've met, they experience that feeling that is unfamiliar, that doesn't feel good, and they back off of it.
So Dave, you have 24/7 control of your thoughts.
It's a choice.
No, I'm asking a question.
This is what I'm sharing with you.
Okay.
Anybody, like she says, anybody can do it, but you have to do the work first. And 24/7, it may be possible. I know I haven't mastered that. If that answers your question,
Okay.
no, I have not.
Okay.
I have been to the place where there's a void, and then I saw it filling up. And there's no way to explain to anybody who hasn't been there what it fills up with. You have to do that work yourself. But it's possible to do.
Okay, then let me add in on what David said. You were asking the question, 24/7, is he able to not have his thoughts? Because I didn't
He said
understand.
control.
Control it.
Can you control the thoughts 24/7?
Okay, I think that I can. And the reason why I say that is that I've been to that void, but then I went through it. And then once you go through it, just like when David was speaking just now, I was with him in what he was saying. There were no thoughts coming through my head. I heard his words, I listened to what he was saying, so I could follow him in my thinking. So I had no thoughts. I wasn't thinking about going home and baking cake. I wasn't thinking about my foot hurt or rebuttals to what he was saying. I was following his stream of thoughts. So there were words rather. So there were no thoughts in my head at all. Period. I was totally there.
But even as you talk, you still have thoughts going through. I mean, you know, because
This is what I said. This is what I said. So if we were to follow that same metaphor of like we're generating stuff, or I'm a calculator and I've been designed to calculate, you might feel like I'm a calculator, I can't stop calculating, that's what I do, I just calculate all day or whatever, it just happens or whatever. But when you go in, there's a point you reach where you figure out where the sleep button is. Or there's like a technique you have to use in order to stop that flow from happening. So once you know how to do that, then you can do it. But if you don't know how to do it, then you're just like, well, you're just gonna always be a calculator, you're not gonna be able to.
no, sometimes I wish I could shut it down.
But that's what we're saying. But the way that you're explaining the calculator, in other words, the calculator sits on the desk and it's off.
Those are written instructions.
So unless somebody turns it on,
But
the
there are
calculator starts calculating. It doesn't just calculate automatically.
There's a clear button too.
Yeah, but still, somebody has to do that. In other words, that calculator is not just continually sitting there calculating no numbers if nobody's pushing the buttons. You know what I'm
I don't
saying?
mean that kind of calculator, but I know what
But
you
you
mean.
also,
Okay.
you have random, just to go with your analogy, you have random and serial thoughts. If you
But I don't
understand what I'm
believe
saying.
in
Okay,
anything
you
like
have
that.
both. I mean, you have thoughts that just come out of the blue, you wonder,
But either way,
why did I go there? You
Either
know what I'm
way,
saying?
No.
what I'm trying to say
Okay.
is either way it comes from somewhere, and we just have to do some things to be able to see where it comes from. And then if you were actually a computer and you had to like figure yourself out, it was nobody pushing your buttons, you would have to like figure yourself out, and that's kind of what we are.
Oh, yeah, that's a good analogy.
I also see it like tuning in on the radio. Sometimes you get a clear signal, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you tune in and it's actually giving you what you're looking for. Sometimes it's not what you're looking
But
for.
don't you,
it's
but
where
even
you're
if you're on
tuning in.
radio, but even if you use that analogy, and you are that radio, and you know that if I tune this way, or if I turn this radio a certain way, it's gonna get a good clear signal. Why wouldn't I turn it that way? You understand what I'm saying? And even though we're using inanimate objects as an example of who we
But
are,
they're electronic
the
devices
still-
that
yes,
guide.
but what I'm saying, well, it's
Your
almost
brain is
as,
electronic.
it's almost as if, you know what I'm saying? So there has to be a certain amount of discipline, which means disciple, that I have become, so that I am controlling my thoughts. And I'm not having what people are saying random, because it's not a random thought, it's something that I've already asked the question for.